Hiya folks, and welcome back to Fishing with Den. Well, you haven't seen me much in the last 3 months, have you? And the reason for that, of course, is all the flooding we've had. And long story short, there's still flooding now. But I'm out for the first time in a long time today, and I've just had my first fish. I'll see if I can show him to you. Hadn't got the cameras turned on while I was playing him, but he's actually quite a nice fish, so I thought I'd show you what he was. He's probably a good £7 or so, maybe even £8, and that for me is the first fish in a long time. I'll just get him back out of the way. Go on, and there you go. There he goes. And today was a bit of a desperation day, if I'm honest. As I think I mentioned a minute ago, the rivers are all still pretty much flooded. Certainly the creek down where I've been fishing down by Den's Pond is still a good 8-10 feet up the banks. This pond that I've come to today, this is what I usually call the mystery pond, and this is actually a chocolate colour, but I did notice there's actually an inflow stream from there, because up the back behind me it's actually all flooded fields still, and there's an inflow coming in through a sort of a gap down there. And I thought, well, if there's an inflow coming into the pond, even though it looks horrible, maybe it's bringing sort of different sort of things in with it, little crustaceans and stuff like that. And so I thought I'd give it a go. So I didn't actually start by doing the video straight away, thinking to myself, I probably won't catch anything because it's not the best day. Not only is the water chocolate coloured, it's still cold. I've actually got a t-shirt on today because it is supposed to be 20 degrees, which is a bit of a first. But, and I know you can't see this, I'm sitting out of the wind, but it's howling a gale at 50 kilometres an hour over the back end of the pond there. Honestly, there's white caps over there, but I've got a big bank behind me, so that's why I came and sat down here as well. So anyway, I've had that first fish. Quick look at what I'm doing. This is the feeder I'm using, a little homemade feeder. It's one of those no feed feeders that I've used in the past, which is where you put molasses. In fact, I'll tell you what, let me get myself set up and I'll show you what I'm talking about. I want to get back in the water since I've had a bite now, I'm all excited. I've got punch bread, 2 pieces of punch bread, I think it's about 8mm punch, on a hair rig, and as I say, I've got that homemade no feed feeder. Well, this is actually a semi-feed feeder. Yeah, I know, mad inventions. So basically, just like any normal feeder, what you do is you put feed into the feeder. So this one, I've got a little hole in the bottom, and I can just put ground bait in like that. So a little bit there, it only comes up to there, look, that's all it is. Then I get some molasses. There's a sponge in here which is securely glued in. If you watch the channel regularly, you've probably seen me do this, but anyway. So little tamping stick, get it down through. There we are. And then literally, I'm fishing at something like a total of 8 turns. So if I just get this right. So it's underarm chuck, whoops. And I got stuck behind the blew that one down. You can just show, oh, that's right, the bait's still in there, the ground bait's still in. I actually got it caught on the line clip, would you believe? There we go. There we are. I am fishing to a line clip just because I wanted to be fairly accurate, but you don't actually need to. So that's my setup for the day. I'll talk to you a bit more in a second. I've got a couple of other things to do, and I'll be right back. Right, sorry about that. I realised I hadn't got the zoom camera set up, which is now set up down there, so at least you can see the bites on the tip. I really wasn't expecting to catch much today, if I'm honest. I've taken advantage of what is supposed to be a fairly nice day, but I'm actually getting wet, would you believe, from the spray that's coming down from up there. That's what kind of strange day it is. Reasonably warm, but hence the t-shirt, but at the same time really, really windy and chocolate coloured water. So anyway, we've had our first bite. I really don't know if I'll catch any more, and I really don't know if you'll see this video, but it is the first time I've been out for quite some time, and certainly the first fish I've caught for, well, 3 months probably. Anyway, it is what it is. Let's crack on, see if we can get some more. Just while we're waiting for another bite, I'm just going to show you a little bit more about this, what was the no feed feeder, which I've, as I say, shown you in the past. I'll put a link up above. It's what I use in winter when I don't want to feed any ground bait and so therefore overfeed the fish. But basically this is another version of it. It's got the little hole in the bottom there, which is enclosed, got the sponge in the top, which, as I say, is securely glued in, and all you do is you take your ground bait feeder and you put ground bait in exactly the normal way in the bottom. Put that on one side a sec. And then this is molasses, but you know, just a sickly sweet sort of a thing. Put it on the top of the sponge, and then I made these on my 3D printer. All you do is just tamp it in like that. I don't know if you can see that properly, but there we are. I've tried syringes and all that sort of thing, but frankly that just didn't work with the molasses. You'd have to water it down too much. And basically that's it. So what you've got is you've got feed going in, but very, very small amounts of it, and you've also got flavour or smell and scent going into the water. Now, I'm not a great believer in all these additives and things, but you know, tub of molasses, you can buy them by the litre in some of these stores. Anyway, that's it. It's a 20-gram homemade feeder, and that's what I'm using. Now all I've got to do is see if it actually works again. I don't care. I'm out. I'm on the bank, finally. Hopefully, we're now going to start to get a bit better weather. As I say, the temperature today is supposed to be 20 degrees, although it is actually pretty chilly with this really heavy duty westerly wind coming in. And so I'm hoping that it'll calm down in the next week or two. I'm also hoping I'll get out fishing more. I think I'm just getting little knocks. Been a while. And it's definitely not wind. Just wonder if the turtles have got out yet. It is supposedly coming up for spring soon. Well, it's only liners. It didn't transpire into anything, did it? But at least there's something down there. I was just actually having a thought as to, am I actually fishing in the wrong place? I'm only fishing, as you can see, an underarm cast just in front of me, probably 8 turns of the reel. And that flow that's coming in through there, I mean, I was kind of assuming that it was going to sort of spread out, but I'm wondering if it's actually sort of more concentrated down to that way. So what I'm thinking of doing is move the rod rest over to this side, and then obviously cast sort of flatter across that way and just see if that produces anything. Because to be honest, this is not going so well so far, but that's okay. I'm out on the bank. I've actually just decided to use a bit of ground bait from this ground bait punch, and I'm going to put it across where I was just talking about, over there, not very far out. What I know, and what you don't know yet, is the fact that it's actually very shallow just there. In fact, there's an old tyre that's just sticking out, shows how shallow it is. It comes out down here and then it drops off, and there's a big rock pile all the way along here. Not quite sure why it's there, but it's there. And some of those rocks are absolutely massive. They're like this sort of thing. So if I've got this wrong, I'll be in amongst the rocks and I'll probably get snapped off on my first cast when I retrieve it. But I think I'm about right by putting them about there. As I say, to fish there I'll have to move the rod around this way, but I'm going to put one more ball in, and this is again one of my homemade 3D printed things. You just put the thing in, try and do it this way so you can see it, put it in, tamp some feed in, and then just pull it out. That one broke over a bit because I wasn't doing it right, but you get the idea. And then, oops, got that in the wrong place. It's in this right area, it's just a little bit further out. But hey, look, I don't know if it's going to work, but if it does, I'll catch some fish, and if it doesn't, I won't. And if I don't, well, like I say, not the end of the world. I'll give this one out here another few minutes. What time is it now? It's I didn't come out until fairly late. It's just coming up for 1 o'clock now. I'll give this another 10 or 15 minutes on this line, see what happens. Give that time to at least have some sort of percolation with the fish, and then we'll give it a go. I'm not quite sure what's going on here. I thought I was stuck on a log, and in fact, yep. I wondered if the turtles are out. They shouldn't be yet, but okay. See what we can do with him. Really wasn't expecting that just yet. It's still winter down here, and yeah, looks like he swallowed it, so we'll have to just give him the hook and hope he's okay. Try and find me scissors. Just cut that off. Oops, careful. Right. Get him back anyway. So now I do know what that liner was. It wasn't a liner. It was one of those flipping turtles that plagued me in the summer. Right, I'll change me hook length and add a new one, and we'll be back in a minute. Well, you wouldn't chuckle, would you? I haven't seen a bite, and I've been down there for about an hour now, and yet here I am, and I've just tried to reel in, and this, I'm absolutely certain, is an eel. Yep, it's an eel. Horrible things. And I never saw anything. Must have just been sitting there with its bait in the mouth, whoops, and the hook's come out. And great big snaky looking thing. It's quite a big eel actually. I'm not touching it, I don't like them. So anyway, look, let's see if we can show you it through the net. There you go, hopefully you can see that. Great big horrible thing. It's probably sawn me off. But we'll put him back anyway. I'll have a check. They don't so much have teeth. From what I can gather, they have like a rasping pad sort of thing. And that was actually quite a reasonable sort of an eel. Let's just see what I'm like for a hook. And yeah, as usual, it's sawn me off. So I think we'll call it quits at that one, guys. I've been down there for an hour. Hadn't had any kind of indication whatsoever, as I probably just mentioned. And if I'm catching eels, there's also probably no carp down there in any way, shape or form. Really, everything was against me again today, because the water's still really horrible coloured. The floods are still coming in. It's cold water, it's murky water, and nights are also still 6 degrees. So yeah, as I say, we probably were never expected to catch a great deal in here today, but it was just nice to get out and about. Rivers are still pretty much the same, still up in flood, not right to the top of the banks, but you know, they're still a few feet up and they're all murky and horrible as well. But I'm hoping in the next few weeks that we'll move into spring down here in Oz. It's the end of August now, and at that point things will start to warm up, the fields will drain off, and the waters will also come up in temperature. Hopefully I can then resume normal service excuse me, and start catching a few fish and doing a few good videos for you. But if nothing else from this, you've had an update of where it's been for the last few months for me at Fishing with Den. And to be honest, I've hardly been out. This is the first time I've been out in weeks, but at least it was nice to get out and about. Shame about the wind, Anyway, there's your update. At least you know I'm still alive and kicking, and I will be around to show you another video fairly soon. Anyway, see you next time, guys.